Honda Civic and a Honda Accord car won't start issues, and the battery is totally good. The Starter Relay Diagnostic Complete Guide. So you step into your Honda Civic or Accord, press the start button, or you try to turn the key to start the vehicle, and the engine won't budge or crank. Or maybe you only notice a slight faint click. This video is your guide on how to diagnose and resolve the issue. With this issue, in most cases it will trigger the dashboard lights, and sometimes the car radio will work, other times it won't. And when the headlights are on and bright, then it is definitely not a battery problem, which is like one of the most common causes of car no-start issue in Honda Accord or Honda Civic. But what else could be going on when there is a car won't start situation, and yet the battery is confirmed good? Well, let's find out. Yes, most drivers are quick to suspect a dead battery or even a failed starter motor when they notice a no-start situation on their vehicle. But often than not, the real problem is usually something much smaller and cheaper to fix. For instance, a bad starter relay could be the reason, which is more smaller and cheaper, but I'm not saying that is the cause for your case, so hold on a bit. As I walk you through all the possible causes of a car won't start, but the car battery is good for Honda Civic and Accord vehicles in this video. Now, before diving into the relay, there are a few quick checks worth doing first. Try shifting the gear selector from park to neutral and then attempt to start the car again. If it suddenly cranks, you're dealing with a faulty neutral safety switch. For push-button start models, make sure your brake lights illuminate when you press the pedal. If they don't, a failed brake pedal switch can block the starter signal entirely. And if your headlights dim heavily or flicker when turning the key, you may be facing a poor ground or voltage drop issue rather than a relay problem. So, moving on, let's now look at how the starter relay plays a part in this whole process, because understanding how it works and the failure signs will help you identify which one is actually the problem in your specific situation. So, what is the starter relay and what does it do? But before we move on, guys, if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please take a moment to do so and also like and share this video. It supports our channel a lot. Thank you very much. Now let's get back to it. What is a starter relay and what does it do? The starter relay acts as a bridge between your ignition switch and the starter motor. When you turn the key or press the start button, the ignition switch sends a small electrical signal to the starter relay. The relay then closes its internal contacts to send a much larger current to the starter solenoid, which cranks the engine. In other words, the relay is like a middleman. Without it, the starter won't get the power it needs to turn the engine over, even if your battery is fully charged and in perfect condition. If the relay fails or becomes intermittent, your Honda may refuse to start altogether, or it might start only occasionally, turning the simple act of starting your car into a guessing game. On newer Civics and Accords models, especially 2013 and newer push-button start models, the starter relay doesn't operate alone. It receives control from the powertrain control module, also a PCM, and the immobilizer system. If the PCM doesn't detect a valid brake pedal signal or a properly recognized key fob, it won't ground the relay coil and the starter will stay silent. If your immobilizer light flashes or the key fob battery is weak, the issue might be electronic rather than mechanical. Common symptoms of a bad starter relay in a Honda. One of the most frustrating parts of diagnosing a bad starter relay is that it often mimics the symptoms of other problems. But once you know what to look for, it becomes easier to spot. The most common symptoms include no crank, no start, but power is everywhere else. The lights, radio, dash, and even fuel pump may work fine, but the engine doesn't turn over when you try to start the car. You might hear a click from the fuse box or under the hood, but the engine stays silent. Intermittent starting issues. Sometimes the car starts fine, other times it's completely dead when you turn the key. This inconsistency is a classic sign of a relay that's beginning to fail internally. Clicking sound from the relay or fuse box. You may hear a faint clicking noise when you try to start the car. This is the relay trying and failing to close its internal contacts. No sound at all. In some cases, especially when the relay fails completely, turning the key may produce no sound at all. No clicks, no hums, just silence. Temporary fixes work, but only briefly. Tapping on the fuse box or relay with a screwdriver might temporarily bring it back to life. While this can be a clue, it's not a permanent fix. If it works even once, replace the relay. Where is the starter relay located in a Honda Civic or Accord? In most Honda Civics and Accords, the starter relay is located in one of the main fuse boxes, usually under the hood near the battery. It's typically a small rectangular relay plugged into the fuse-type relay box along with several others. To identify it, check the underside of the fuse box cover. There's usually a diagram showing the location of each relay and fuse. Look for labels like starter cut relay, or just ST. On some models, especially older ones, the starter relay may also be located under the dashboard, near the driver's side kick panel. If you're unsure, a quick look at your owner's manual or a repair manual for your specific year and model can help pinpoint the exact location. Diagnosing the starter relay, step by step. Diagnosing a faulty starter relay doesn't require fancy tools, just some basic knowledge and a multimeter, or even some relay swapping logic. Here's how to approach it. Listen for the click. When you turn the key to the start position, listen closely to the fuse box area. If you hear a click, it means the relay coil is getting power, but it may not be sending power through to the starter. Try swapping the relay. Most starter relays are identical to other relays in the same fuse box. Look for another relay with the same part number, like the AC clutch relay or fan relay, and swap them. Try to start the car again. If it starts, you've found your culprit. Check for power at the relay terminals. Using a multimeter, check the voltage at the relay socket. One terminal should have 12 volts when the key is in the start position. Another terminal should show 12 volts at all times, battery power. The other two terminals are for the relay coil. One gets 12 volts from the ignition switch, and the other is grounded. When you test, you should see a solid 12 volts on the feed terminal, and no less than 10.5 volts when you turn the key to start. Anything lower usually means corrosion or voltage drop through the wiring harness. If that's the case, cleaning or tightening terminals might fix the problem without replacing the relay. Jump the relay for testing purposes only. As a temporary test, you can jump the power terminals in the relay socket with a small wire or paperclip. This bypasses the relay. If the starter cranks immediately, the relay is definitely bad. Make sure the car is in park or neutral, the parking brake is fully engaged, and your hands are clear of moving parts. Jumping a relay sends direct power to the starter and can cause the car to lurch if it's in gear. Do this only as a quick diagnostic check. Now let's look at the starter relay versus other causes so you don't replace the wrong part. It's easy to misdiagnose a bad starter relay because other issues can cause similar symptoms. Make sure you've ruled out the following. Bad starter motor. If jumping the relay or applying 12 VE directly to the starter solenoid doesn't crank the engine, the starter itself may be the problem. Faulty ignition. Switch. If the ignition switch isn't sending a signal to the relay won't engage, no matter how good it is. Dead or weak battery. Even if lights and accessories work, a battery can still be too weak to engage the starter. Always test battery voltage under load. Blown fuses or corroded terminals. Check all related fuses and look for signs of corrosion in the fuse box or relay terminals. Bad ground connections. A weak or corroded ground strap can prevent proper relay function. Make sure engine and body grounds are clean and tight. Honda ground straps are a silent killer. They often corrode internally, especially between the transmission and the frame. Even when they look fine, resistance builds up and the starter circuit loses power. A quick test is to connect a jumper cable from the negative battery terminal directly to a metal point on the engine block. If the car cranks, the ground strap is your reason for the no start problem. Replacing the starter relay, quick and simple. Once you've confirmed the starter relay is faulty, replacing it is simple. Buy a new relay that matches your make and model. OEM is preferred, but high-quality aftermarket relays can work too. Unplug the old one from the fuse box. Plug in the new one. Try to start the car again. It should crank right up if the relay was the issue. The whole job takes less than 5 minutes and typically costs $10 to $30 depending on the brand. Compared to replacing a starter motor or ignition switch, it's a cheap and easy fix, preventing future starting problems. While relays can fail without warning, there are a few steps you can take to help prevent electrical starting issues. Keep your fuse boxes dry and clean. Moisture is a relay killer. Use dielectric grease on relay terminals to reduce corrosion. Check and clean battery terminals regularly to ensure proper voltage delivery. Pay attention to early signs like intermittent cranking or clicking sounds. Relays often show signs of failure before they die completely. It's also smart to keep a spare relay in your glove box or trunk, especially if your Honda is more than 10 years old. That small part can be the difference between a frustrating day and a quick fix. Now, if you find this video helpful, then check out our other video here, where I talk about diagnosing and cleaning a dirty, damaged, or bad fuel injector. The link will be in the description box below. By the way, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. It helps support our channel a lot, and thank you. I will see you in the next video.